The rocks that form the Paiskloof canyons began their story around 183 million years ago, during a period of enormous volcanic activity across southern Gondwana. Magma moved through fractures and between older rock layers, where it cooled and hardened. But the formations we see today were not standing exposed at the surface. For millions of years they remained buried beneath other material. Only much later did weathering and erosion gradually uncover the resistant rock and begin revealing the landscape we recognize today. Paaiskloofspruit begins in the open country west of Philippolis. From there, it follows a winding course across the dry landscape. For much of this upper section, the channel is clearly defined, although surface water is normally absent or intermittent. Along its route, the spruit crosses the road at several points before gradually approaching Paaiskloof. Here, the character of the drainage begins to change, with more persistent vegetation appearing along parts of the channel. The spruit then enters the remarkable Paiskloof canyons, where its course becomes deeply incised into the landscape. Beyond the canyons, it continues downstream through increasingly dissected terrain, eventually reaching the Orange River, today forming part of the Vanderkloof Reservoir. These photographs preserve the landscape as it appeared before the Vanderkloof Dam was built, when Paaiskloofspruit still reached the Orange River through its natural valley. Today, that landscape has changed dramatically, with the lower course of the spruit disappearing beneath the waters of the reservoir. The purple line shows Paaiskloofspruit approaching from the east, while the cyan line marks the much shorter drainage route from Yuthu to the west. Once they meet, their combined course, shown in orange, continues through the canyon system. Next we see the deeply incised entrance and water flow by the 8-ho drainage as it approaches this junction. The Paaiskloofspruit entrance. Layer upon layer of rock has been slowly carved away by the relentless force of the river and the elements. One of the most intriguing features of Paaiskloofspruit is the persistence of water as it reaches Paaiskloof. We do not yet know exactly why this occurs. One possibility is that the local geology allows rainfall and floodwater to enter fractures and underground reservoirs, later returning to the surface as seepage or springs. The canyon itself may also help retain water locally. At present, however, this remains a working hypothesis. A detailed geological and hydrological investigation would be needed to establish the actual mechanism. From the farmhouse, a footpath of about 400 meters led to a small stone and concrete where on Paaiskloofspruit. In front of the line of grapevines was a vegetable garden, while beyond the grapevines lay the dam and the wetter ground associated with the spruit. The wetland area could be reached directly from the farmhouse, or from the weir by crossing the spruit and walking upstream. One's journeys to the canyons went in the opposite direction. From the weir, you followed Paaiskloofspruit downstream towards the canyons. In its normal state, Paaiskloofspruit is modest and largely confined to its channel. But after heavy rainfall, the landscape can change dramatically. Water spreads across the broad, low-lying ground, and during a major flood, much of the surrounding plain becomes part of a powerful, fast-moving spruit. Perhaps the most intriguing question is why these remarkable canyon formations occur only here. Paaiskloofspruit travels for considerable distances both upstream and downstream without producing the same deeply incised walls, pillars, and jointed rock formations. Other substantial drainage systems nearby also lack this distinctive landscape. This suggests that water alone cannot explain the canyons. A particular local arrangement of resistant rock, joints, fractures and other structural weaknesses may have allowed erosion to work here in an exceptional way. For now, however, this remains a hypothesis, one that requires detailed geological investigation.